You think Christmas is cozy? Cinnamon candles, hot chocolate, fairy lights glowing on the tree. But let's ruin that picture. Imagine instead a freezing wooden hut, mud on the floor, and your family chewing stale bread that tastes like salt. And outside, a mob of starving peasants sharpening pitchforks not to defend their homes, but to come and steal Christmas itself. Yeah, forget Jim Carrey's green furball. The real Grinch wasn't a cartoon. It was an entire village of angry medieval nobodies who decided if they couldn't celebrate, then nobody else would. Oh, and before you laugh, make sure you subscribe, because this legend is so ridiculous it'll make even your Christmas calendar look good. And yes, check the pinned comment. There's one waiting for you. You'll see why. You wake up in the year 1347. The air smells like wet hay and smoke from a fire that barely clings to life. Your stomach growls, because yesterday's dinner was boiled turnip, and today's dinner will be the same if you're lucky. It's Christmas Eve, but it doesn't feel like it. There are no stocking, no jingle, no turkey roasting. Just the gnawing cold, the sound of rats in the thatch, and the faint toll of church bells calling the rich lords to midnight. You pull your ragged cloak tighter and mutter under your breath, "Why should they feast while we starve?" That's when you hear it. A whisper in the village square. Men and women gathered round, their faces hollow from hunger, their voices sharp with anger. The Lord's hall is full of meat and wine. They eat goose while we rot. Why should they have Christmas when ours is gone? The whispers. The mob begins to swell, and suddenly, the Grinch is no longer a green monster on a mountain, it's you. It's them. It's all of you deciding Christmas needs to be stolen, torn away from the rich who hoard it. Irony stings the air, joy for some, misery for others. What could possibly go wrong? You join them, feet crunching on frozen mud. The night is sharp, silent, except for the clank of makeshift weapon. Someone's holding a rusted scythe. Another waves a stick wrapped in iron. You clutch a rock. Not because you want to, because if you don't, you will be the only fool left behind. And as you march, you can feel the wrongness settling in. This isn't Christmas spirit. This is Christmas revenge. At the manor gates, the torches flare. Guards in armor laugh as if watching clowns parade by. But they stop laughing when the mob surges forward. You smell sweat, blood, and the sour tang of wine spilling as barrels are smashed. You hear screams, some of rage, some of fear, some of drunken celebration as peasants seize roasted geese right from the banquet table. Candles flicker, gold goblets crash to the floor. The rich lords back away, clutching their silk robes like cowards. And for a moment you feel it, power, warmth, even joy. The kind of joy that comes not from gifts or song, but from ripping Christmas out of someone else's. This is where the legend starts. A Christmas where the feast was stolen, the songs silent, and the church bells rang hollow because the poor took everything. A medieval anti-Christmas. Some called it a riot. Others whispered it was cursed. But centuries later, when stories of a green creature who hated Christmas emerged, peasants were already laughing. Because long before Dr. Seuss, they knew the truth. The Grinch wasn't fiction. It was their own history. You glance at your hand, greasy from stolen meat. Children laugh as they bite into food they've never tasted before. A drunk man topples into the Lord's chair and sings an off-key hymn. For one night, Christmas belongs to you. But the chill doesn't leave, because you know the church won't forgive. Tomorrow, soldiers will ride in. Punishment will be brutal. And as you tear another bite from roasted goose, you wonder, was stealing Christmas worth the price? The answer never comes. The night blurs in chaos, shadows dancing, fire crackling, voices echoing in your skull. You close your eyes, but the taste of rebellion clings to your tongue. And somewhere in the dark, a thoughtful, maybe Christmas was never about joy at all. Maybe it was always about who controlled it. And maybe, just maybe, the Grinch wasn't a monster. He was a mirror. And so, when you finally fall asleep in that stolen hole, belly full for the first time in years, you dream. But it's not sugar plums. It's not gifts, it's soldiers' boots trampling snow, iron chains clinking, and the echo of bells tolling not for Christmas, but for your doom. Still cozy, still sleepy. You wanted a boring Christmas bedtime story, well, here it is. A legend of hunger, fire, and stolen joy. The Middle Ages didn't do Merry Christmas. They did Miserable Christmas. And if you're still awake, remember, tomorrow could bring another Grinch. Maybe not green, maybe not free, but real and angry. Just ask the peasants. You wake up with a pounding headache. The kind that feels like a hammer is testing the inside of your skull for weak spot. The manor's hall stinks meat grease, spilled wine, and the faint sour tang of vomit on brushes that were never meant to hold 100 barefoot peasants dancing all night. The fire has died down to embers. Somewhere in the dark, a child is crying. Maybe from too much food, maybe from the terror of last night. You sit up, blinking, and the memory slams into you. You stole Christmas. Not just a loaf of bread, not a chicken, not even coins from a careless noble. No, you and your people took an entire feast, ripped it from the hands of lords who thought themselves untouchable. For one night, it was glorious. But morning is cruel. Morning always is. Because now, the silence is heavy. Too heavy. And you know what it means. The soldiers are coming. A peasant near the broken doorway mutters, "We should run." Another hisses back. Run where? Into the snow? To starve faster. The arguments swell, but you barely hear it. Your eyes are fixed on the table's half-eaten goose legs, empty jugs of wine, shattered plates. It looks less like a feast and more like a battlefield. And maybe that's what it was. You stumble outside. The air bites your lungs, sharp with frost. Your breath curls like smoke, and for a moment, you wish you could vanish with it. But the village square is already buzzing. People aren't celebrating anymore. They're arguing. Some want to hide the evidence. Some want to fortify the village. Some madmen want to march on the next manor and do it all again. And then there's you, stuck in the middle, wondering if you just ruined not only Christmas, but your entire future. A bell tolls in the distance. Not the soft ring of a church bell. No. This is heavier, deeper, metallic alarm. The kind that echoes across valley. The kind that says, justice is coming, and it's wearing iron. You swallow hard. Suddenly, the taste of last night's feast feels rotten in your mouth. The first horse appears before noon, black against the snow. Then another. Then 5. Soldiers in chainmail, their banners snapping in the icy wind. The villagers freeze, like mice caught in a hawk's shadow. You can hear the leather creak on the saddles, the snort of horses, the scrape of swords being dropped. The peasants clutch their scythes and pitchforks, but you know it's no use. The captain dismounts. His boots crunch on the snow as he surveys the wreckage. His face is calm to calm. Who did this? He asks. No one answers. Silence spreads like sickness. You look down, pretending to study your filthy shoes. The captain's eyes know. Then all of you are guilty. The soldiers move faster than hunger, faster than fear. They grab the nearest villager, a boy barely 16, drag him forward. He screams as they tie his hand. Another peasant protests, and steel flashes. Blood stains the snow before you can blink. The red looks round to bright against the white. You can't breathe. You can't move. And yet, deep inside, a twisted thought forms. Wasn't this the ending you expected? That joy would be punished. That hunger dared to taste power only to choke on it. Maybe this is what the Grinch legend always meant, that Christmas can be stolen. Yes, but only at a cost so steep it breaks you. By nightfall, the manor is reclaimed. The tables are cleared, the lords reinstated, and the peasants. You're scattered, broken, some hiding in barns, some chained and marched toward the nearest city for justice, and you, standing in the snow, realize something horrifying. The feast may be gone, the rebellion crushed, but the idea, the hunger, the rage, the desperate laugh of biting into food that wasn't meant for you, that idea isn't dead. It's still inside you, it's still inside them, and legends don't vanish. They fester, they grow, they wait. Back in the square, you hear a whisper. A woman with fire in her eyes hisses, "Next year, we'll take it back again." Another man nods, though his arm is still bleeding. You want to tell them it's madness, that you saw the soldiers' blades, the blood, the chain. But the words die in your throat, because part of you traitorous, hungry agrees. You stumble home that night, empty again. The stolen feast is a memory. But when you lie down on your straw bed, staring at the ceiling beams blackened by smoke, you hear laughter in your head. Not the laughter of children, not the cheer of Christmas. A darker laugh, low, ironic. Almost like it's mocking you. The laugh of a legend forming, twisting, preparing to outlive you. The Grinch wasn't a monster. He was a peasant. He was you. And as you finally drift into sleep, stomach aching with hunger again, you can't shake the feeling that centuries from now, people will tell this story. But they'll make it softer, safer. They'll paint it green and free. Give it rhymes and silly song. Because the truth is too ugly, too human, too real. And the truth is this: you didn't just steal Christmas. You cursed it. You don't sleep long. How could you? Every creak in the rafters sounds like soldiers returning. Every gust of wind against the door feels like chains rattling. You wake in the dark, heart pounding, mouth dry, the memory of roasted goose still haunting your tongue like a ghost. Outside, snow falls thick and slow, muffling the world, making it seem calm, peaceful. But you know better. Snow is just a blanket for a grave. The village is quiet to quiet. No children laugh, no bells ring, no dogs bark. Everyone is hiding, waiting, pretending nothing happened. But you can't pretend. Not after last night. Your hands still smell like grease and smoke, no matter how much you rub them against your clothes. The taste of rebellion won't wash out. It clings. At dawn, the priest arrives. His robes drag in the snow, the edges stained brown from mud and ash. His face is pale, lips tight, eyes furious. He stands in the square and raises a hand. You have sinned, he declares. You have stolen not just from your lords, but from God himself. Christmas is sacred, and you have defiled it. People bow their heads, some cry. You don't. Not because you're brave, because you can. You're too numb, too hollow. The priest goes on, his voice rising, spitting words like daggers. He calls you all thieves, blasphemers, heretics. And then he delivers the worst blow. Christmas is taken from you. No mass. No fees. No blessings. Until repentance, this village shall know only silence. The words land heavier than any soldier's sword. No Christmas. No songs. No light. Just emptiness. Even the children don't dare whimper. You feel your throat tighten, but you refuse to look down. Because deep inside, something stirs. A thought, a whisper. If they take Christmas from us, we'll just take it back. The priest leaves. His robes vanish into the snow, but his curse lingers. For days, the village is dead. No laughter, no prayers, just hunger gnawing louder and louder. People whisper in corners, afraid to speak too loud, as if even their words might be punished. You try to keep busy chopping wood, fetching water, but everything feels hollow. The earth itself feels poison. One night, unable to bear the silence, you wander into the woods. The moon glows through the trees, silver and cold. Your breath clouds in front of you, and each step crunches on snow like bones snapping. And then you hear it, a sound, soft, strange, not wind, not wolves, singing. You freeze. It's faint, broken, off-key, but it's singing. A group of villagers huddle deep in the forest, their faces lit by a single candle. They're whispering carols, not the joyous ones, darker ones, ancient ones, songs older than the church, songs about winter spirits, about hunger, about taking what's denied. Their voices rise, thin and shaky, but stubborn. And you realize Christmas isn't gone. It just changed. It turned sharp, bitter, defiant. You step closer. They glance at you, wary, but they don't. One woman, her cheeks hollow, her eyes blazing, presses a crust of bread into your hand. It's stale, nearly rock hard, but in the candlelight, it feels holy. You bite into it, choking slightly, but warmth spreads through your chest. Not from the bread, from the rebellion still alive in their voices. The Grinch wasn't born in a cave or a cartoon. He was born here, in these woods, in these songs that refuse to die. He was born from peasants who, even when crushed, even when cursed, refused to stay silent. You can feel it crawling under your skin now, that mix of bitterness and defiance. You want to laugh, but the sound would be too close to sobbing. The candle sputters, almost dies, then flares again. Everyone gasps softly. The woman whispers, "See." Even the light won't leave us, and suddenly you believe her. Not in the priest's God, not in the Lord's well, but in something darker, hungrier, pettier and far more real. You walk back to the village at dawn, your heart pounding. The snow crunches louder now, like it's mocking you. But you don't care, because you know the legend has begun. Maybe the priest silenced the church bell. Maybe the soldiers stole the feast. But they can't kill the idea. Christmas can be stolen. Christmas can be twisted. Christmas can be cursed. And as you crawl into your straw bed, exhausted but buzzing with defiance, you realize the most terrifying thing of all. You don't regret stealing it. You want to do it again. You wake to whispers again. Not the cheerful kind. Not gossip about markets or marriages. These are sharp, low, dangerous whispers that crawl along the wooden beams of your hut like spiders. You sit up, blanket stiff with frost, and strain your ears. They say the priest cursed us. They say soldiers will return. They say it wasn't the last Christmas we'll steal. The last line makes your stomach clench. Because it's true. The hunger isn't gone. The cold isn't gone. And the taste of stolen goose. That memory burns hotter than any fire. Outside, the snow is deep. Your feet crunch through it as you head toward the square. The villagers are already gathered. Hollow faces, red noses, hands trembling from both cold and fear. But their eyes there different now, harder, sharper. Once, you saw only despair. Now you see sparks. Sparks waiting for kindling. An old man clears his throat, his voice like gravel. We paid for our feast with blood. They'll never forgive. So why should we? If Christmas belongs only to the Lord, then let us take it every year. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Someone mutters a prayer. Someone else spits into the snow. But the thought has been spoken aloud. It cannot be shoved back into silence. You feel your chest tighten, not with fear but with a thrill you hate to admit. You imagine it. Every winter, peasants storming manors, stealing food, burning candles not for God, but for themselves. A Christmas of rage. A Christmas of thieves. A Christmas that mocks the very idea of peace on earth. The vision is both terrifying and addictive. That night, you dream again. But the dream isn't yours. It feels older, stranger, like it crept in from somewhere beyond. A figure moves through the snow, tall, dark, face hidden. Its laughter rattles the trees, deep and cruel. It steals not just gift, not just food, but warmth itself. It leaves behind silence, emptiness, shadow, and when it turns its head, you see not green fur, but your own reflection staring back. You wake sweating, shivering, and for the first time, you wonder, maybe the priest wasn't cursing you. Maybe he was warning you. Maybe you didn't just steal Christmas, you created something that can't be stopped. The days drag on. No feast, no blessings, just hunger. Children grow quieter, sunken. The adults speak less, but their silence is heavier, like words stuffed with stone. And then, one evening, a woman bursts into the square. Her cheeks are raw from wind, her breath a white cloud. The next village feasted, she says. Their Lord gave them bread, meat, candles. The words strike like lightning. For a second, you feel dizzy. Another village had Christmas, and you didn't. Rage flares in your chest. Why them? Why not us? And you see the same rage ignite in every hollow around you. The old man from before mutters, then we'll take theirs. The idea spreads faster than fire. Plans whispered over dying embers. Children told to keep secret. Men sharpening rusted blades. Women hiding scraps of cloth to use as torches. And you, caught in the middle, torn between dread and hunger. You know it's madness. You know soldiers will come again. But your stomach growls, your throat aches, your body remembers the warmth of stolen wine. On the eve of the attack, the forest is silent. 'Tis silent, no owls. No wolves. Even the wind seems to hold its breath. The villagers gather in the shadows, eyes glowing with feverish determination. Torches are lit, scythes gleam in the moonlight. And as you step forward with them, heart hammering, you realize something bone deep. This isn't just about hunger anymore. It's about proving you exist. About ripping joy from the hands of those who hoard it. About making Christmas scream. The march is long, the snow deep. Your feet ache, your fingers numb. But no one turns back. The glow of the other village appears on the horizon, golden and warm, like a cruel joke. You can smell it already, bread baking, fat sizzling, sweet spice drifting through the night air. Your stomach twists, your teeth clench. Someone whispers, "Tonight, we'll feast again." But in your gut, you know the truth. Tonight, you'll do more than feast. Tonight, you'll feed the legend. Because every step through the snow feels like a drumbeat. And with each beat, a shadow grows taller in your mind. A shadow with long fingers, hollow eyes, and a laugh that belongs to no man, no woman, only to the hunger itself. The Grinch is coming, and he's wearing your face. The village you march toward doesn't know yet. They sit by fires, chewing on meat, singing hymns in warm voices. Their children play with carved toys while their lords sip wine. To them, tonight is Christmas. To you, it's war. Snow crunches under dozens of desperate feet. The only sound besides the occasional cough or grunt. The torches flicker, glowing like angry eyes in the dark. Your breath is ragged. The cold gnaws your bone, but hunger burns hotter. And when the first glow of their manner appears through the trees, your chest tightens. Not with fear, though it should, but with anticipation. Someone hisses, "Now." The mob surges. No plan, no strategy, just raw, ugly need. You smash through the gates, wood splintering under sheer desperation. Dogs bark, men shout, women scream. The villagers burst into the feast hall like demons, ripping food from tables, toppling goblets, tearing into meat with bare hands. You're swept along. The heat of the fires hits your frozen skin, making it the smell, oh God, the smell, fat sizzling, bread steaming, wine spilling onto the rushes. It's overwhelming. You grab whatever your hands touch. Bread, dripping meat, a cup of something hot that burns your throat but makes your chest bleed. Chaos explodes. Lords shout. Guards draw steel, but they're outnumbered. The poor fight like animals, fueled by hunger and rage. A guard's blade flashes near your face, and you duck instinctively, grabbing a stool and smashing it against his. He falls screaming. You don't even stop to think. You're already moving, already biting into stolen food, already laughing, yes, laughing because it feels unstoppable. For one terrible, glorious hour, it's not Christmas, it's carnage. The kind wrapped in songs no priest would dare sing. The kind that tastes like fire and blood and stolen joy. But then, the bells. They're not church bells. They're warning bells. Soldiers. Again. The panic spreads instantly. Some drop their food. Some scream. Some fight harder, like cornered beasts. You freeze, heart hammering, as the clash of steel fills the hall. This time, the guards don't fall so easy. This time, the soldiers came prepared. You stumble back as the mob breaks apart, bodies colliding, torches falling, flames licking at the wall. The hall fills with smoke and terror. You can't see, you can barely breathe, but you can hear screams, steel, and laughter. That same laughter you dreamed of. Low. Cruel. Not yours, not anyone's. Something older, echoing through the chaos. You push through the smoke, choking, clutching a loaf of bread like it's gold. Outside, snowflakes hiss as they land on burning wood. Villagers scatter into the night, chased by soldiers, dragged down into the snow, beaten chain. You run. Not because you're brave, because survival is the only thing left. The forest swallows you again. Branches whip your face, roots strip your feet, your breath tears your chest apart. Behind you, the glow of fire rises into the sky, the other village burning. The Christmas they had stolen from you turned track. You collapse against a tree, gasping, sweat freezing on your skin. The bread is still in your hand. You tear into it desperate, each bite like both victory and defeat. Round you, scattered survivors huddle, eyes wide, mouths full, hands trembling. Some cry, some laugh hysterically, some sit in silence, staring into nothing. And that's when it hits you. This isn't survival anymore. This isn't justice. This is ritual. The feast, the theft, the fire, the blood. It repeats, like a dark liturgy, older than any church. And every time it happens, the shadow grows stronger. That thing you saw in your dream, it's feeding. Not on food, not on wine, but on your desperation, your rage, your endless. You realize, with a chill colder than snow, that the Grinch isn't just coming. He's already here. In every stolen bite, in every curse whispered under your breath, in every Christmas you ruined because you can't stand to watch others celebrate while you starve. The others don't speak it. They don't have to. You all feel it. The legend is alive now, and it has your face. As dawn creeps the trees, the survivors trudge home. The village you attacked is smoke, and your own village waits with hollow eyes, ready to share whatever scraps you managed to drag back. And you walk at the center, clutching crumbs, feeling both king and criminal. When you finally collapse into your bed, exhaustion pulling at your bones, the last thought that flickers in your skull is that if Christmas can be stolen once, it can be stolen forever. And maybe that's the true curse. The next morning feels like waking after a nightmare, except the nightmare is still there. Smoke on the horizon, blood frozen in the snow, ash clinging to your clothes like a brand you'll never wash off. You stumble through the village gates, half dead, half alive, clutching crumbs of bread like treasure. The children rush forward first, eyes wide, mouths open. Their fingers claw at your hand, snatching whatever scraps you hold. They don't ask where it came from. They don't care. Hunger eats question. Only the adults notice the burns on your cloak, the bruise on your jaw, the way your eyes won't quite meet there. You sit in the square as the survivors gather, faces grey and hollow, but lit with something strange. Not joy. Not pride. Something sharper. Victory mixed with poison. They're alive. They. That's more than yesterday. An old woman whispers, "We've cursed ourselves." A younger man spits back, "We've blessed ourselves." You stay silent, staring at your hand, still trembling, still filthy with someone else. The priest returns at midday. His robes are darker this time, his voice colder. He sees the smoke on the horizon, and his face hardens like stone. You mock God, he thunders. You mock his day. Twice now you've spat on the holy feast. Twice you've stained his season with blood. Do you not see? You are damned. The crowd shifts uneasily, but no one speaks. Damn. The word should sting. It should freeze your heart. Instead, you feel a strange warmth crawl up your spine. Damned, yes, but not silent, not starving, not forgotten. The priest raises his hands, eyes blazing. From this day, your village is cursed. No Christmas shall come here again. No mass, no blessing, no holy feast. You are exiles from joy itself. The words hang in the air like a noose. Mothers weep, children cling to skirts, men clench fists, and you your stomach twist, but not from fear. Because deep down, you know what they don't. The curse isn't his to give. You already carry it inside you. That night, you sit by the fire, chewing dry roots, staring into the flame. The whispers return, curling round the crackle of wood. You can't ban Christmas. You can't kill hunger. You can't silence the Grinch. The love comes again low, bitter, almost human. You look round, but no one else hears. They sit in silence, eyes empty. Only you flinch. Only you know it's not your imagination. Sleep comes late, dragging you into dreams. The shadow is clearer now, taller, leaner, its hands long and bony. It stalks through villages, snuffing out candles, spilling wine, stealing bread from children's mouths. Not for itself, but for the hunger that swirls inside it. And when it looks at you, its eyes glow not green, not gold, but hollow, like windows to avoid. You wake choking, heart racing, sweat freezing on your neck. The dream won't fade. The laugh still echoes in your skull. And the worst part, a piece of you doesn't fear it anymore. A piece of you welcomes it. Days blur, snow deepens, hunger gnaws, but the curse spreads faster. Neighbors argue, fights break out over scraps. A child steals from another, and no one scolds them. Everyone's too tired, too angry, too hollow. The priest is gone now, vanished like smoke, leaving nothing but silence. And in that silence, the legend festers. People whisper in corners. The hunger has a face, the feast has a thief. The Christmas spirit is dead, and something else was in its place. They don't call it by name yet, but you know, you feel it with every rumble in your stomach, every ache in your bone. The Grinch is more real than any saint, more present than any prayer. And the cruelest part, he doesn't need to steal Christmas anymore. You'll do it for him. The next raid isn't planned. It happens because someone snaps. A man finds his child dead from cold. He screams. He grabs a torch. He marches into the square, demanding food, demanding justice. Others join, voices rising, rage boiling. By the time you realize what's happening, the mob is moving again, torches in hand, eyes wild. You go with them. Of course you do, because what else is left? The march is shorter this time. Another manor, another feast waiting inside. And again, the cycle repeats. Gates smash, tables overturn, food ripped up, screams, fire, blood. But this time, something shifts. In the smoke and chaos, you catch sight of it. Not a shadow, not a dream, a figure, hunched and strained, slipping between villages, touching food, snatching candles, whispering laughter. Its eyes flash in the firelight, and for a heartbeat you swear you see its grin dot, wide dot twisted. Familiar dot, and then it's gone. You stumble back, heart slamming against your ribs, bread clutched in one hand, torch in the other. Did anyone else see? No. They are too busy eating, fighting, burning. Only you felt its gaze. Only you know the truth. The Grinch isn't just legend. He's here. He's watching. He's hungry. And worst of all, he's on your side. You can't shake it. That grin in the smoke, that flash of hollow eye. It wasn't a dream this time. You saw it. You know you did. But when you try to speak of it, the words die in your throat. Because how do you explain it? How do you tell starving people that something darker than hunger itself has joined them? The village is quieter after the raid. Not peaceful, never peaceful, but quieter. People chew stolen scraps in silence, eyes flicking toward shadows, ears twitching at every creak. Children hum strange little tunes, off-key, not quite carol. The kind of songs that make your skin prickle, because you know they didn't learn them from the church. One night, by the fire, someone finally whispers a name. They say it's not us who steals the feast. Then who? His spirit. The Grinch. The word falls heavy, like a stone tossed into a frozen pond. The ripples spread immediately. Some laugh nervously. Some cross themselves. Some look away, faces pale. But no one denies it. Because deep down, everyone's felt it. The laugh in the smoke. The weight in the silence. The way hunger feels alive, almost gleeful. You feel your throat go dry. The word tastes strange in your mouth. Grin. Not holy, not human, not safe, but true. Horribly true. The next day, children use it freely, as if it's a game. They whisper in alleys, giggling. The Grinch will get you. They draw crooked shapes in the snowman, twisted smile. Their parents scold them, but weakly, without conviction. Because scolding doesn't erase shadow. You walk through the village and realize something has shifted. The priest's curse is gone. The soldier's threats are distant. But the fear is sharper than ever. Not of hunger. Not even of Lord's doubt of him. Of the thing that no one invited but everyone feels. That night, you dream again. But the dream is different. You're not just watching now, you're following. The Grinch moves through the forest, faster than the wind, leaving frost on every branch he touches. He slips into houses, not with force, but with silence. Bread vanishes, candles snuff out, children cry in their sleep, and each time he takes something, his grin grows wider, sharper, until finally he turns, and for the first time he speaks. You made me. You jolt awake, gasping, the words echoing like bells inside your skull. Sweat chills your skin, your chest heaves, and the worst part is you don't doubt it. Not for a second. He's right. Morning brings no comfort. The snow is deeper, the cold sharp. Villagers move slower now, bones stiff, breaths ragged. But the whispers grow louder. Stories spread like fire. A shadow seen at the edge of the forest. Food missing from hut. Footprints in the snow that don't match any man. Some claim he's green as moss. Others swear his eyes glow in the dark. Everyone agrees on one thing: he laughs. You try to tell yourself it's hysteria. Fear mixed with hunger, twisting mind. But then you see them, claw marks on a doorframe. Too high for a child. Too sharp for a tool. The words splintered as if something scraped it on its way inside. The family who lived there swears they heard laughter that night. Not human, not animal, something in between. The raids stop, not because the hunger is gone. Hunger never leaves, but because no one dares leave the village now. Too many eyes glance toward the woods, too many ears strain for that laugh. The lords feast in their manners without fear. For once, you don't envy them, because whatever stalks you isn't theirs. It's yours. Days blur again. The silence thickens, and one evening, as the sun bleeds out behind the trees, you hear it. Faint at first, then louder, a laugh. Not in a dream, not in your head, in the square. The villagers freeze. Children clutch mothers. Men grip scythes. Women whisper prayers. You feel your stomach twist as the sound grows mocking, hollow, cruel. It seems to come from everywhere at once, bouncing off huts, slipping under doors, curling through the smoke of dying fires. Then it stops. The silence is worse than the sound. And in that silence, someone whispers the name. The Grinch. It spreads again, carried by trembling lips, passed like a curse. And for the first time, you realize this isn't just legend anymore. This is worship, because hunger isn't feared. Hunger is fed, and now, so is he. The snow never stops. It falls heavy, endless, as if the sky itself wants to bury you alive. Days and nights blur into one long stretch of gray. You wake cold, you eat little, you work until your hands crack and bleed, and still hunger grows. But now, it isn't just hunger that stalks you. It's hit. The laugh hasn't left since that night in the square. Sometimes it's faint, drifting through the wind like a cruel echo. Sometimes it's close, scraping against the walls of your hut, vibrating in your bone. You try to ignore it, but ignoring the Grinch is like ignoring hunger. Impossible. The villagers chain, slowly, but visibly. Children no longer play in the snow. They scratch shapes into twisted faces with crooked smile. Women light candles not for saints, but to keep shadows away. Men sharpen blades, not for lords this time, but for whatever lurks in the forest. And you feel it most. Every time your stomach growls, you hear it under the sound, a laugh. Every time your hands tremble from cold, you imagine long, clawed fingers twitching in rhythm. Every dream you have now belongs to him. One evening, the old man speaks in the square again. His voice is weak, but his words are sharp. The priest cursed us. The soldiers beat us. The lords starve us. But none of them stayed. Only one did. Only one walks with us, the villagers murmur. He doesn't say the name. He doesn't need to. You feel it hanging in the air, pressing down on every hunched shoulder, clinging to every trembling lip. A woman shouts back, he takes from us too. bread, firewood, even children's toys. He laughs while we stare. The old man nods. Because we made him. Because he is us. Our hunger, our rage, our theft. You can't drive him out. You can only feed him. The silence after his words is suffocating. You want to deny it. You want to scream. But you don't. Because deep down, you know he's right. That night, a family vanishes. Their hut is found empty. The snow outside trampled, claw marks raking the doorframe. No bodies, no blood. Just silence. Some whisper they fled. Some whisper they were taken. You don't know which is worse. The fear grows heavier, thicker, until even breathing feels like swallowing stone. And yet, something else grows too. A strange acceptance. The villagers no longer speak of stealing Christmas from lords. They speak of surviving the Grinch, pleasing him, living under his shadow like livestock under a cruel farmer. The children adapt fastest. They leave offerings in the snow crumbs of bread, broken toys, bits of cloth, little sacrifices. At first, it's innocent, but soon adults join in. A loaf left at the forest's edge, a blanket, a half-burned candle. The laugh grows louder after each offering, echoing like thanks. You can't escape it anymore. Every time you close your eyes, he's there looming, watching, grinning. And the worst part, you no longer wake screaming. You wake calm, because it feels right. Because in some twisted way, you believe what the old man said. The Grinch isn't hunting you. The Grinch is keeping you alive. One evening, as snow buries the village deeper, you catch sight of him again. Not in a dream, not a trick of FIRELIGHT. He stands at the tree line, tall and crooked, eyes glowing faintly in the dark. His grin splits wide, teeth jagged, breath curling in cloud. He doesn't move. He doesn't need to. His presence alone freezes you in place, heart slamming, breath caught in your throat. And then, he lifts one long finger to his lips. Silent. Then he vanishes. You don't sleep that night. You sit by the fire, staring at the door, half expecting claws to rake across it. But nothing happens. Nothing needs to. Because you realize the truth. He doesn't need to break in anymore. He's already inside. The village no longer celebrates Christmas. Not because they forgot. Not because they can. But because they don't dare. The date passes like a shadow, unspoken. No feasts, no candles. No hymn. Just silence, heavy and choking, as if every hut has agreed to hold its breath. You sit in the dark, clutching a crust of stale bread. The fire is dead, the air sharp, your stomach gnawing itself raw. You should pray, but your lips don't form the old words anymore. Instead, they twitch round a name you refuse to speak aloud. Outside, snow falls like ash. The wind moans through the cracks in the wall, but beneath it, you swear you hear it. That laugh, low, muffled, like someone whispering through cupped hand. The children don't sleep. They stare at the ceiling, wide-eyed, listening for a claw scratching on wood. Some whisper rhyme, strange little chants that rhyme too easily with his name. You try to hush them, but they giggle nervously, as if mocking fear makes it safer. It doesn't. At dawn, the square is covered in offering, not by order, not by plan. Just there, breadcrumbs, bones, bits of cloth. Someone even left a carved wooden horse, its painted eyes staring up from the snow. No one admits to placing them. No one has to. It's the only Christmas tradition left now, feeding the thing that feeds on you. You watch the pile grow each day. Sometime, by morning, the offerings are gone. Sometimes they're torn apart, scattered like a warning. Either way, the laugh always follows. The old man in the square speaks again, voice rasping. We are chosen. Other villagers feast, sing, pray. They waste their joy. But we know the truth. Christmas is not about gifts. It is about loss. Hunger. Fear. The Grinch teaches us. The crowd listens. Some nod. Some cry. Some simply stare. You feel bile rise in your throat. Chosen. Taught. It sounds less like survival and more like worship. And yet, part of you agrees. Because the priest's God never fed you, the Lord's never fed you, but the Grinch, he left you alive. One evening, the whisper spread of a child gone missing. Not from hunger, not from sickness vanished. No footprints in the snow, no trace of struggle. Just gone. The villagers don't search. They don't shout. They just look at one another, eyes hollow, lips trembling, as if they already know where the child went. You lie awake that night, every creak making your heart jolt. You imagine the grin in the shadows, the long arms reaching, the laugh rumbling as small hands are dragged away. You want to scream, to fight, to deny it, but you don't. Because silence feels safer. The forest grows darker. Every path feels watched. No one dares chop wood to deep inside. Hunters refuse to leave the edges. The trees themselves seem twisted now, branches curling like claws, roots rising like ribs. It's as if the land itself bends to him. And then the snowstorm comes. It howls for 3 days, swallowing the village, burying roots, sealing doors. You can't see the sky, can't hear your own thought. Only the roar of wind and the scratch of snow against wood. Hunger rips through the huts, fiercer than ever. People eat bark, straw, even leather. You know your belt until your teeth ache. On the second night of the storm, the laugh cuts through the wind. Louder than before, clear, cruel. And this time it doesn't fade, it grows, rising, swirling with the storm, until it feels like the sky itself is laughing. Children cry, women clutch them, men grip useless tools. You curl into yourself, hands over your ears, but it doesn't help. The laugh is inside you now. When the storm finally breaks, the village is half buried. Huts collapse, people dead in the snow. You stumble into the square, weak, hollow, numb. The offering pile is gone, completely, not scattered, not stolen by dogs. Gone. And standing at the edge of the forest, for the briefest moment, you see him again. Taller now, thinner, grin stretching to wide. His eyes meet yours, and you swear they gleam with recognition. Like he knows you, like he remembers. Then he vanishes into the trees. The survivors whisper that the storm was his gift, that he took what was his and spared the rest. You want to shout at them, to call them mad, but your throat closes, because maybe they're right. Maybe this is Christmas now. Not joy, not light, not peace, but silence, snow, and the laugh that never ends. The storm left scar, roofs caved in, livestock frozen stiff, their eyes glassy under a crust of snow. Families digging through drifts with bare hands to find the bodies of their own. The priest never returned. The lords never send aid. Only the laugh remained, echoing in the quiet like a cruel reminder that survival is borrowed, not earned. The villagers gather in the square, gaunt faces lit by weak sunlight. No feast. No fire. Just silence, waiting. Then, as if rehearsed, they place scraps on the ground, a crust of bread, a shard of meat, a child's doll with one missing arm. Offering, laid carefully in the snow. You watch, stomach twisting. No one says the name out loud, but everyone knows who it's for. It's not charity, it's not hope, it's tribute. A tax to the shadow that watches. By dawn, the offerings are gone. All of them, this time. No mess, no scraps left behind. As if taken with precision. The villagers don't speak of it, but their eyes are brighter. Not joyful, never joyful, but almost relieved. As if being robbed by something unseen feels safer than starving. That night, you dream again. The Grinch sits at a table. Alone. No peasant, no lord, no laughter but his own. The table stretches into infinity, covered in stolen food, roasted meat, steaming bread, goblets of wine. He eats slowly, grinning wider with every bite. And when his eyes flick toward you, you realize the truth. It isn't just hunger he feeds on. It's yours. Every pang in your belly, every ache in your bone, every desperate prayer you never spoke, it's all his now. You wake gagging, bile burning your throat. The taste of ash clings to your tongue. The next day, children run through the square, playing a new game. They pretend to sneak into huts, snatch food, and run off laughing. I'm the Grinch. One shouts, cackling. The others chase, shrieking. Adults watch with hollow smile, too tired to scold, too afraid to admit what the game means. The old man returns to the square, voice rasping like dead leaves. We are not cursed. We are chosen. Other villagers feast once a year. We feed him always, and he spares us. You want to scream at him, call him mad. But the words catch in your throat, strangled by fear and hunger, because part of you sees the logic. Every time you raided a feast, soldiers, blood followed, death followed. But now, the Grinch takes quietly. No chains, no blades, just hunger answered with hunger. The people nod, heads bowed, eyes dull, lips murmuring. It looks less like a village meeting and more like a sermon. And the old man, he looks like a priest, but not of God, of something older, something crueler, something with a grin. That night, more offering, bigger ones, a sheep this time, tethered and bleating, left in the square. You lie awake, staring at the ceiling, listening. The bleating cuts off suddenly, then laughter. At dawn, the rope is empty. No blood, no tracks, nothing left, just silence. And the villagers, they smile. Days stretch into weeks. The snow doesn't melt, the hunger doesn't fade, but the fear changes shape. It's no longer sharp and frantic. It's steady, dull, ritualistic. Every day, work, staff offer. Every night, silence, laugh, dream. The Grinch has woven himself into the rhythm of life, like winter itself. You start to notice strange things. Children drawing crooked smiles on walls. Women humming low, broken tunes as they cook thin stews. Men carving shapes into woodlawn fingers, dagged teeth. Little idols tucked into corners. No one speaks of them, but no one hides them either. One evening, you find yourself in the square alone. The snow crunches under your boots. Your breath fogs in the air. You glance at the offering pile small tonight. Just scraps of bread and bone. And then, without thinking, you kneel. You don't pray. Not to God, not to saints. Your lips move, but the words are different. Quieter. Darker. You whisper not for blessing, but for mercy, for survival, for hunger to be sated. And in the silence that follows, you hear it again. That laugh, not far, not near inside, curling round your ribs, vibrating in your bone. And for the first time, you laugh with it, not loud, not cruel, just a whisper of a chuckle, and it feels right. When you rise, snow clinging to your knees, you realize something terrifying. The Grinch no longer needs to take Christmas. You've already given it to him. The square no longer feels like a place for markets or gathering. It feels like a shrine. Every day, offerings pile high, bread, bones, scraps of cloth, carved figures with crooked smiles. The snow round it is stained, not with blood, but with ash, as if the very ground has been burned by unseen hand. The villagers no longer bow to the church. They bow to the silence, to the grin carved into their minds. They don't speak his name aloud anymore. It's too dangerous, too sharp, but they don't need to. Every bowed head, every trembling lip, every scrap left in the snow says it for them. You stand in the back, watching, trying to tell yourself you're different, that you don't believe, that you won't fall for this madness. But then your stomach growls, sharp and violent, and you feel your knees bend before you can stop them. Not from faith, from weakness, from hunger. The old man leads now. His voice shakes, but his words cut clean. We have no priest, we have no church, but we have him. He watches, he laughs. He takes, and in taking, he spares. The villagers murmur in reply. It's not prayer, it's not song, it's something else. A chant. Low. Broken. Wordless. But beneath it all, you hear it. The laugh. Louder. Strong. Almost feeding off their voices. That night, the dreams return. You walk through endless snow, the world silent except for crunching footsteps behind you. You don't turn. You don't need to. You know who follows. The Grinch doesn't chase, he waits, he grins. And when you finally fall to your knees in exhaustion, he leans close, breath cold as death, and whispers, "You are mine." You wake screaming, but no one comes. Everyone's used to it now. Night screams are common. The children scream. The mothers scream. The men grind their teeth until they bleed. And over it all, the laugh carries, never fading. Hunger grows worse. The offerings grow smaller. Some huts stand empty now, families gone, vanished into the woods or swallowed by snow. The villagers don't speak of them. They only add more to the pile. And then it happened. The old man announces a feast, not of plenty, not of lord's scraps, of themselves. "We give not crumb, not bone, but flesh," he rasps. His eyes blaze with fever. A true offering, a holy sacrifice, a Christmas worthy of his laugh. The words send a shiver down your spine. You want to scream no, to run, to fight. But the crowd murmurs agreement. Hollow eyes, gaunt faces, lips cracked and bleeding but nodding. Accepting. The victim is chosen before you can protest. A man too weak to work, too sick to fight. They drag him to the square, muttering chant, leaving bloody footprints in the snow. He doesn't scream. He doesn't beg. He only laughs. Not his laugh. The laugh. You turn away as the blade falls. You don't want to see. But you hear. You hear the thud, the gasp, the silence after. And then the laugh. Louder than ever. Echoing from the forest. Bouncing off the huts. Curling into your skull until you feel your lips twitch upward against your will. The feast is small, grim, silent. But for the first time in weeks, your stomach feels, and that fullness tastes worse than hunger. You stumble home, bile rising in your throat, heart racing. You want to vomit. You want to claw your skin off. But the laugh follows you. It doesn't mock this time. It soothes, like a lullaby, like approval. And when you finally collapse onto your straw bed, trembling, shaking, half mad, you realize the Grinch doesn't just steal Christmas anymore. He owns it. And he owns you. Snow buries the village deeper each day. But no one curses it anymore. They've stopped cursing hunger. They've stopped cursing cold. All curses now belong to him. All prayers too. The square looks different. Not like a market. Not like a meeting place. More like an altar. The offering pile is always there. No matter how empty the huts grow. A loaf torn in half. A strip of cloth. A toy carved with shaky hand. But now, something else surrounds it, carvings in the snow. Symbols scratched by sticks or fingers. Circle, jagged smile, long claw marks drawn, again and again, until the snow is stained grey. The children laugh as they draw them. Their parents do not. Their parents bow. The old man leads them again. His voice weaker, his body bent, but his eyes alive in a way you've never seen before. The priest abandoned us. The Lord starved us. But he stayed. He laughs with us. He eats with us. He spares us. A murmur rises. Not the old prayers, not the old hymn. Just one word, low and trembling. Grinch. You flinch hearing it spoken aloud. But no one else. They repeat it, louder, steadier, until the word feels like a bell tolling through the snow. The name that was once fear now rings like faith. That night, the dreams change again. You see a chapel broken, burned, roof caved in. But inside, there is no altar, no cross. Only a long table, covered in scraps. He sits at the head, grinning, waiting. Villagers file in, bowing low, placing their offerings on the table. Each time they do, his laugh shakes the rafters. And when they kneel, he leans down, whispering in their ears. You can't hear the words, but you see their faces twitch. Some weep, some laugh, some scream. You wake gasping, throat raw, fingernails bloody from clawing at the straw bed. The next day, the chant begins in the square. Not words, just rhythm. Stomps in the snow, claps of frozen hand, voices humming low and steady. At first, it feels like nonsense, but then you hear it beneath the sound. The laugh.syncing.joining.feeding. The old man raises his arm, trembling but fierce. We ours, he is ours. He does not steal. He takes what is owed. He teaches us what Christmas truly is. Someone shouts, hunger, another, fear, another, silence. The chant grows louder until the air itself feels heavy. You watch, heart pounding, stomach turning. Part of you wants to run, to scream, to smash the offering pile to pieces. But another part of you hums with the rhythm, lips twitching, hands clapping without your consent. The fever spreads. Families no longer whisper about him, they speak openly. They tell stories. They invent miracles. A child lost in the woods returned unharmed, laughing in his sleep. A hut that burned but left the offering untouched. A man who starved for days but claimed the laugh kept him alive. The Grinch isn't a monster anymore. He's a savior. Twisted, cruel, silent but theirs. One evening, you find yourself at the square again. The offering pile is small tonight, just bones and ash. The crowd gathers anyway. The old man raises his hand, and silence falls. He looks at you, directly at you. His eyes are wild, burning. You doubt, he croaks. You see him, but you deny him. You feel him, but you fear him. You dream him, but you wake screaming. Stop fighting, join, bow, feed him, or you will be the next offering. The crowd stares at you. Hollow eyes, hungry eyes, desperate eyes. You feel their weight pressing on you like stone. And then you hear it. The laugh, not faint, not distant, right behind you. You turn nothing, but the sound is in your ear, curling into your skull, shaking your bone. Your knees buckle, not by choice, by command. You collapse into the snow, hands trembling, head bowed. The villagers jeer, their voices cracked but triumphant. The chant rises again, louder, sharper, until the night is filled with it. And through it all, the laugh. Always the laugh. The square is no longer a square. It is a church, not of stone, not of saints, but of snow, ash and fear. The offering pile glows faintly in the moonlight, ringed with torches that burn not for warmth, but for ceremony. Round it, the villagers gather each night, hollow eyes shining, lips trembling, voices low. The old man stands at the center. His back is bent, his breath rattled, but his words cut through the cold like knife. This is the true Christmas. Not feasts, not gifts, not joy. Those were lies. This, he gestures to the pile, to the snow, to the darkness beyond. This is truth. Hunger, fear, silence. His gifts to us. The crowd hummed, heads bowed, hands twitching in rhythm. You stand at the edge, trying to resist, but your chest vibrates with the sound, your lips almost moving against your will. Children sit cross-legged in the snow, drawing crooked smiles and jagged shapes. Women hum the chants as if they were lullabies. Men carve wooden idols long on, wide grins, hollow eyes, and place them at doorways like guardians. The village looks less human each day, reshaped into something grinning, cruel, and waiting. That night, the dream returned. But it's different. You're not just watching anymore. You're seated at the long table. The Grinch sits at the head, carving meat with claws, his grin slicing through the shadow. Villagers sit beside you, eating scraps, laughing hollowly, their faces pale, and he looks at you. His grin widens. He raises a goblet of black liquid, and the crowd cheers. You lift your own without thinking. When you drink, it burns, but it fills you with heat, with hunger, with laughter. You wake choking, but this time you don't scream. You laugh. Quiet. Broken, but laughter all the same. The next morning, the old man speaks again, voice cracking like firewood. He is pleased. He laughs with us. He spares us, but he is still hungry. Always hungry. His eyes sweep the crowd, landing on you for a too long. Who will feed him tonight? Silence falls. Everyone looks at everyone else. Fear flickers in every face. And then, a voice thin, trembling, but clear. A woman steps forward. Take me, the old man nods. No one protests. No one cries. The woman walks to the pile, kneels, bows her head. The chant rises. stomps in the snow. Claps. Hum. And then silence. The torches flicker, the shadows deepen, and she is gone. No scream, no struggle, just gone. The crowd exhales, shaky but relieved. The old man raises his arm. He has taken her. He is fed. We are spared. You stand frozen, heart slamming, bow rising. Did you see it? A shadow at the edge of the firelight, long arms reaching, grin flashing. Or was it your mind? You don't know anymore. The villagers cheer. They hug. They cry. Not in sorrow, but in joy. Joy twisted, blackened, but joy. Because the sacrifice means survival. Because the Grinch is satisfied for now. You stumble home, trembling, shaking, whispering to yourself. This is madness. This is wrong. This is cursed. But the laugh follows you. Not mocking. Not cruel. Almost comforting. And you realize something horrifying. They're not wrong. The priest's God never saved you. The Lord's never fed you. The Grinch does. In his way. Twisted. Terrible. But real. You collapse onto your bed, eyes burning, head spinning. And before you drift into an easy sleep, you whisper words you swore you never would. Thank you, the laugh answers. The word Christmas is never spoken anymore. It's as if it never existed. The villagers talk only of him now. Of the hunger, of the laugh, of the shadow that feeds on scraps and flesh alike. The children don't even ask about gifts, they ask if the Grinch is pleased. The old man is no longer just a voice. He is a prophet. His body may be failing, but his words are stronger than steel. Every evening he drags himself to the square, eyes fever bright, voice rasping like a blade on stone. The old feast was a lie, he croaks, but we know the truth. He is the truth. He is the winter. He is the laugh that swallows the world. And they believe him. All of them. You stand among them, heart pounding, mouth dry. You try to resist, to tell yourself this is madness. But your lips twitch with the chant. Your feet stomp with the rhythm. Your hands clap without your command. It's inescapable. The idols multiply, carved from wood, from bone, from anything that can hold a shape. They stare from doorways, from shelves, from the edges of beds, long arm, crooked smiles, hollow eyes. Some painted with ash, others with blood. All grinning, always grinning. You wake one night to find one at the foot of your bed. You don't know who placed it there. You don't ask. You simply stare at it until your eyes blur, until its grin seems to widen, until you hear the laugh inside your skull. And you don't throw it away. You hant. The offerings grow bolder. No longer scraps, but whole animals, whole tools, even whole huts burned as tribute. Smoke rises into the grey sky, and the villagers watch with bowed head, waiting for the laugh. When it comes, they cheer, tears streaming, lips cracked into smiles too wide. And you join them, because not joining is worse. Not joining means eyes turn toward you, and you've seen what happens when eyes turn. One evening, the old man raises his trembling hand. The feast is near, he rasps. The false feast of the Lords, the false joy of the church. But we will not starve. We will not bow. We will hold the true feast. The crowd erupts, stomps, claps, chants. The air vibrates with the rhythm. You feel it in your bone, in your teeth, in your skull. The true feast. The words taste bitter and sweet at once. That night, your dream is clearer than ever. You walk into the forest, snow crunching underfoot. The trees part, and there he stands. Tall, thin, grin stretched wide enough to split his face. His eyes glow like coals. His claws drip with something dark. He extends his hand to you. Long, bony fingers curling in invitation. You don't want to take it, but you do. And when your skin touches his, the laugh explodes inside you, shaking your bone, filling your lungs, twisting your lips into a smile you can't control. You wake laughing. Not a dream laugh. A real laugh. Loud. Broken. Cruel. It doesn't stop until your throat burns and your eyes stream. The villagers hear it. They don't scold. They don't fear. They join. Soon the whole village laughs together, hollow and cracked, echoing into the night. and you realize the truth. The Grinch doesn't need to steal anymore. He has already taken everything. Your food, your faith, your voices, even your laughter. The lords prepare their feasts. You hear rumors carried by travelers, halls lit with candles, tables bending under roasted meats, goblets overflowing with wine, choirs singing hymns that rise into the night like smoke. Christmas bright, warm, smug. But not here. Never here. Here. The snow buries everything. The huts, the animals, the memory. No lights glow, no hymns echo, only the laugh. Always the laugh. The old man gathers the villagers in the square. His body shakes, his skin is grey, but his eyes burn with fever. He leans on a staff carved with a crooked grin, and when he speaks, his words slice the coal. The lords will feast on lies. The church will feast on lies. But we... His voice cracks, but the crowd leans closer, trembling, desperate. We will feast on truth. Hunger. Fear. Silence. His feast. The crowd roars not with joy, but with madness. Stomps in the snow, claps of frozen hand, chants rising like a storm. You join, though your stomach twists, though your throat aches, because not joining means death, and because, deep down, part of you believe. Preparations begin, not for joy, not for gift, but for sacrifice. Animals are tethered near the offering pile. Bread is hoarded not to eat, but to burn. Idols are carved bigger, taller, until they loom over huts like watchmen. The village itself becomes a temple. You wander through it, numb, dizzy, the smell of smoke clinging to your clothes. Children chase each other, chanting rhymes that twist into his name. Women sew symbols into cloth-jagged smiles, crooked claws. Men sharpen blades, not for hunting, but for ritual. That night, the dream returns. The Grinch sits at the long table again, but this time, the seats up. Villagers laugh hollowly, tearing meat with bloody fingers. He watches, grinning, as you take your place among them. He slides a goblet toward you. You drink. It tastes like a shandown. The laugh swells until it drowns everything. You ache to find blood on your lips. You don't know if it's yours. The night of the true feast arrives. The square glows with firelight, shadows writhing on the snow. The old man stands at the center, voice cracking, body trembling. Tonight we give. Tonight we are spared. Tonight he laughs with us. The first sacrifice is an animal. Its bleating cuts through the night, then silent. The crowd hums. The second sacrifice is bread, burned until the air stinks of smoke and ash. The crowd chants. The third, you don't want to see. You don't want to know. But you can't look away. The third is a man, dragged forward, trembling, lips moving in broken prayer. He doesn't fight. He doesn't beg. He kneels. The old man raises the blade. The crowd stomps, claps, chants. The laughs swell, louder, closer, vibrating in your bone. And then it happened. Not just sound, not just shadow. He appears tall, thin, eyes burning, grin wide enough to split his face. He steps into the firelight, and the crowd gasps not in fear, but in awe. They bow, they cheer, they weep. Some laugh until their voices crack. You freeze. Your breath stops. Your stomach turns, but your knees bend anyway. You bow, hands trembling, heart hammering. Because how could you not? He is here. He is real. The sacrifice falls. The snow stains red. The laugh booms across the square, echoing into the forest, shaking the sky itself. The villagers scream in joy, in terror, in worship. And you, choking, sobbing, laughing, you scream with. Because the Grinch no longer haunts your dreams. He has come to claim his feast, and you are part of it. The morning after the feast is quiet. Too quiet. The snow glitters under a pale sun, untouched, undisturbed. But the silence doesn't feel empty anymore. It feels full. Heavy, as if the air itself remembers what happened. No one speaks of the man who was sacrificed. No one mentions his name. No one dares. Instead, they smile thin, cracked, trembling smile. The kind that's stretched too wide, that hide too much. the kind that look too much like his. The old man limps through the square, leaning on his staff. His voice is barely more than a croak now, but everyone listen. He is pleased. He has walked among us. He has taken. He has spared. The villagers nod, lips twitching, hands shaking. You nod too. The bile burns in your throat. Because what else can you do? Deny what you saw. Deny the grin, the eyes, the way the firelight bent round him. No, you saw. Everyone saw. He is real. And now, he is staying. At night, his shadow drifts between huts. You don't see him fully, not always, but you catch glimpses. A crooked grin in the window. Claw marks on the doorframe. A laugh rattling the rafter. Children giggle nervously when they hear it. Adults bow their heads. No one screams anymore. Screaming feels useless. Offerings are no longer voluntary. They are demanded. Not by soldiers, not by priests, but by silence itself. Every morning, the pile must grow. Every morning, something must vanish. Bread, meat, tools, sometimes more. And if the pile is too small, the laugh grows sharp, cruel, mock. One morning, the pile is bare. Nothing left to give. The villagers huddle in the square, trembling, muttering prayers that no longer belong to saints. The old man raises his arm. He will take what he needs. Do not fear, the laugh answered, louder than ever, echoing through the forest, bouncing off the huts, shaking the snow from the roofs. And then silence. When it fades, so does a family. Gone. At empty. No tracks. No screams. Just gone. No one questions it. No one searches. They only nod. He was hungry. Someone whispered. He has eaten. We are spared. You choke on by. But you don't because part of you understand. Part of you even feels relief. Better than you. Better someone gone than everyone gone. That night, you dream again. The long table stretches endlessly, covered in scraps and blood. He sits at the head, grinning, carving meat with claws. This time, the villagers aren't just guests. They're dishes, placed on plates, silent, eyes wide. And when he lifts a goblet, it's filled not with wine, but with their laughter, bubbling, broken, endless. You wake shaking, tears streaking your face. But when you stumble outside, gasping for air, you hear it. The laugh, low, soothing, almost tender. And for the first time, it calms you. The old man gathers the villagers again. His body is failing, but his words are sharp. The Lords feast on lies. We feast on truth. Hunger is truth. Fear is truth. He is truth. The chant rises. Stomps, claps, humming. Children join in, their voices high and cracked. Women weep as they chant. Men grin as they stomp. The rhythm shakes the air, and beneath it the laugh. Always the laugh. And you chant too. Because your voice isn't yours anymore. Your hunger isn't yours. Your laughter isn't yours. It all belongs to him. When the chant fades, the old man collapses. The crowd gasps, rushing forward, lifting. His eyes are glazed, his lips trembling. With his last breath, he whispers, "Here's Christmas now." The crowd weeps. Not in sorrow, in reverence. You weep too, because you know he's right. Christmas is gone. The Grinch remains. The old man dies the next morning. His body is found in the square, cold like ash, staff still clutched in his hand. His eyes are open, glassy, frozen mid-glare as if even death couldn't wipe the fever from. The villagers gather. No wails, no prayers, no candles. They don't bury him in the churchyard. The church hasn't mattered in months. They don't carry him into the forest. The forest belongs to him now. Instead, they lay the body on the offering pile. The crowd K and ELS. Silent. Waiting. You stand at the edge, stomach twisting, bowel rising. You want to scream. You want to run. But you don't. You kneel too, because the weight of silence is heavier than chain. The wind stills. The snow drifts softer. And then you hear it. The laugh, louder than ever. Clear. Sharp. Not distant. Not imagined. Real. The torches flicker. The shadows stretch. And the old man's body vanishes. Not burnt. Not dragged, not carried, vanishes. The villagers cheer. They clap. They stomp. Children laugh until their voices crack. The words rise, trembling, desperate, triumphant. He has taken him. He has blessed him. You stumble back, choking, heart slamming. Blessed, the word tastes like ash in your mouth. But the villagers mean it. They believe it. And when you see their hollow eye, their trembling smile, you realize something worse. Maybe they're right. Because the laugh lingers longer this time. Not mocking, not cruel, almost proud. That night, the dream is different. You see the old man at the long table, seated beside him. His body no longer bent, no longer frail. His grin is wide, his eyes hollow, his laughter broken. He feasts beside the Grinch, tearing meat with bloody hands, drinking from a goblet filled with silence. You wake screaming, but no one comes. No one cares. Screams are common now. What's uncommon is silence. Days blur again. The old man's place doesn't stay empty. The villagers fill it themselves. Every evening, they gather in the square without needing to be called. They chant, they stomp, they clap, not waiting for a prophet, waiting for him. And sometime he comes. Not fully, not always, but you see him at the edges of the firelight. A grin flashing between huts, eyes glowing at the forest line, shadows bending in ways they shouldn't. Each glimpse sends the crowd into frenzy cheers, laughter, tears. They don't fear him anymore. They beg for him. The offerings grow darker. Tools, clothes, animals, then children's toys, then keeps, then blood. A cut on the hand, a drop in the snow, a whispered promise. Take this, spare me. One evening, a child steps forward, not chosen, not forced, not willing. Take me, the child whispered. The crowd gasps, then cheers. The mother weeps not in sorrow, but in pride. The child kneels, the laugh explodes, the child vanishes. The cheer is deafening. You collapse into the snow, gagging, sobbing, shaking. But when you look round, no one else shares your horror. Their eyes shine, their lips tremble with joy. They believe the child is not gone, but taken. Not lost, but blessed. Not dead, but feasting at the long table beside him. That night, you don't dream. You don't need to. You already know what the dream would show. The Grinch has stopped stealing. Now, they're giving themselves freely. And the worst part, they're happy too. The calendar no longer matters. No one counts days. No one asks if it's December or if Christmas is near. Because Christmas is always here now. Not joy, not light, not feasts. Him. Every night is Christmas. Every night is offering. Every night is silence broken only by chants and the laugh that answers. The square has changed. The pile of offerings is no longer a heap of scraps. It's an altar, built from stone, wood, bone, taller than a man, wider than a hut, carved with jagged smiles, scratched with claw marks that no hand could make. It grows every day, as if it builds itself. The villagers bow to it at dawn, at dusk. At every passing moment their eyes drift that way. Children press their tiny palms against its surface, giggling when they swear it vibrates under their skin. Adults leave drops of blood on it, tiny sacrifices that stain the cracks. You try not to look at it, but it looks at you. Always. The old hymns are gone. No one remembers the words anymore. Now there is only the chant. Stomps in the snow, claps in the cold, humming that vibrates through your ribs until your own chest hums with it. Sometime the chant goes on for hours. Days. No one eats, no one sleeps, just stomps, claps, hums. And when the crowd finally collapses, exhausted, starved, half dead, the laugh rises low, booming, triumph. And in that laugh, they find strength again. The idols multiply still, bigger now, as tall as men, standing in the square, in the forest, in the huts. Their crooked grins glow in firelight. Their hollow eyes follow you when you move. You try not to stare, but when you close your eye, they're still there. Watching, grinning, waiting. One evening, you stumble past the altar, weak from hunger. Your hands tremble. Your stomach gnaws itself raw. You whisper barely, softly, please, and the laugh answers. Not from the forest, not from the huts, from the altar itself. The stone vibrates under your touch, and for the first time, you feel warmth. Not comforting warmth, burning, searing, but warmth all the same. You fall to your knees, gasping, weeping. Not from fear, from relief, because it feels like someone listened. The villagers no longer fear death. They beg for it, to vanish into the laugh, to be taken to the long table, to feast beside him. Sacrifice is no longer punishment, it's privilege. When a man collapses in the snow, starving, dying, the villagers don't weep. They cheer. They drag his body to the altar, lay it gently, bow their heads. The laugh comes, deep and sharp, and the body vanishes. The crowd erupts in cheers, stomps, claps. You watch, numb, trembling, heartbreaking. But when the laugh fades, you feel it again, relief. Because he didn't take you. That night, you dream not of the long table, but of the forest. Black trees, endless snow, glowing eyes watching from every shadow. The Grinch doesn't walk, he floats, sliding across the ground, his grin wider than the sky. Behind him, a line of villagers follows, hollow-eyed, grinning, chanting. They vanish into the trees one by one, swallowed by the dark. You wake gasping, choking, heart slamming. But when you look outside, you see them, villagers in the snow, walking toward the forest in silence. Not dragged, not forced, not willing. You want to scream, you want to stop them, but your legs tremble, your throat locks, and as you watch them vanish into the trees, you realize something worse. Part of you wants to join them, because the village isn't a village anymore. It's a chapel, a prison, an altar, a feeding ground, and the Grinch doesn't just own Christmas now, he owns time itself. You don't know how long it's been, days, weeks, months. Time is meaningless now. The sun rises, the snow falls, the laugh echoes. That's all that matters. The village is unrecognizable. The huts slump like broken teeth, the square buried in snow and ash. The altar towers at the center, taller each day, carved with deeper grin, dripping with offering. It pulses sometime, faintly, like a heartbeat. No one questions it. No one fears it. They kneel. They pray. They smile. The children laugh constantly now. Not playful laughter. Hollow, broken laughter that never stops, even in sleep. You hear it through the thin walls of your heart, high-pitched and relentless, until your ears rip. The adults laugh too, softer, lower, but constant. A choir of madness filling the air day and night. And beneath it all, louder, deeper, endless the laugh. His laugh. You stumble through the square one morning, weak, dizzy, your stomach clawing itself raw. The villagers are already there, kneeling, chanting, their voices cracked and bleeding. At the altar's base lies a woman, still breathing, still alive. Her eyes are wide, lips twitching into a grin she can't control. She doesn't resist as they bind her, as they lay her down, as they bow their heads. The laugh rises, the air thickens, shadows stretch, and then she's gone. The crowd erupts, stomping, clapping, laughing until their throats children dance in circle, their voices shrill, their faces painted with a smile. You collapse into the snow, sobbing, choking, unable to breathe. But when you look up, when you see their hollow eyes and wide grin, you feel it again, relief. Because it wasn't you. That night, the dream changes. You're no longer at the long table. You're on the altar, bound, trembling. The Grinch towers above you, claws glinting, grin splitting wider. He doesn't speak. He doesn't need to. His laugh shakes your bone, your teeth, your soul. And as he reaches down, you feel yourself vanish, not pain, not death, just nothing, silence. You wake screaming, clawing at your skin, gasping for air. But when you stumble outside, you see the villagers waiting, watching, smiling. You were chosen, one whispered. Their eyes glow in the firelight, their grins stretch to wide. Not yet. But soon, you stumble back, shaking, choking on bile. Chosen. The word rings in your skull like a curse, like a promise. The next day, the forest call, not with sound, with silence. You feel it tugging at your bone, pulling you toward the trees. Others feel it too. You see them wander at night, faces blank, feet dragging, disappearing into the dark. No one returns, no one asks, no one cries. They're not gone, they're taken. The altar grows larger each time, stones added overnight, carvings deeper, symbols sharper. It's building itself from the bodies, from the laughter, from the silence. A monument to hunger, a cathedral of nothing. You try to run, just once. Your feet crunch through the snow, heart racing, lungs burning. You run past huts, past fields, past the forest line. The world is silent, empty, endless. For a moment, you believe you've escaped. Then you hear it, not behind you, not a head. Inside. The laugh, louder, sharper, closer than ever. It fills your skull, your chest, your bone, until your legs buckle and you collapse. The snow burns your skin as you scream, as you claw at your ears, as the laugh drowns everything. When you wake, you're back in the village. You don't know how. The villagers kneel round you, chanting soft, their eyes hollow, their lips twitching. He brought you back, someone whispered. He won't let you go, and you realize the truth. The Grinch doesn't need chain. He doesn't need guards. He doesn't need to chase, because he lives inside you now, and he will never let you leave. The square reeks now, not of wood smoke, not of food. Of blood. The snow round the altar is stained black, crusted with frozen crimson, slick underfoot. No one notices, or if they do, they don't care. They only bow lower, grin wider, chant louder. The altar itself is different. No longer just stone, wood and bone, flesh too. You don't know when it began. Maybe after the first sacrifice, maybe after the storm. But now, the surface pulses faintly, as if veins run through it. You swear sometimes it breathes, mist curling from cracks like steam from open mouth. The villagers treat it like a god. They touch it with trembling hands, press their foreheads against it, smear their blood into its groove. Children climb its sides, giggling, placing toys in its crevices. And every night, without fail, the laugh answers. You avoid it. You try to. But even in your hut, even in your dream, you feel it. Watching. Waiting. Grinning. The chants have words now. Not just stomps and claps. Words. Twisted. Broken. Have forgotten. But words. Hunger is truth. Fear is gift. Here's Christmas. You whisper them without meaning to. In your sleep. In your waking. While chopping wood. While fetching water. While staring into the fire. The words crawl out of your throat, uninvited. And when you hear them, the laugh answers. Always. The offerings escalate. Animals vanish. Tools vanish. Family vanish. No one questions. No one mourns. They only cheer, clap, stomp, laugh until their throats split. You join them, your lips cracking, your voice raw, your belly hollow. And then the feast. Not the Lord's feast. Not the church's feast. The true feast. The villagers gather in the square, eyes blazing, grins trembling. The altar pulses, shadows stretching across the snow. And when the laugh rises, they begin. Not with food, with flesh. A man steps forward willingly, carving into his own arm, blood dripping onto the altar. The crowd cheers, stomps, claps. Another follows, slicing skin, spilling red. Another. Soon the snow is black with blood, the air thick with iron. Children laugh, painting their faces with crimson smile. Women sing broken hymns, voices cracking. You freeze, trembling, bow rising. You want to run, you want to scream, but your lips twitch upward. Your hands tremble toward your own skin, because the laugh fills you, vibrating in your bone, commanding you. And then you do it. You cut. Just a scratch, shallow, small. But the blood drips. It hisses on the altar. The crowd roars. The laugh explodes, booming, triumphant. And you feel it. Relief. Warmth. Joy. Twisted, blackened, monstrous but joy. That night, the dream changes again. You sit at the long table, but this time, you're not eating. You're the dish, laid on a platter, surrounded by hollow-eyed villagers who feast on you, tearing pieces with their hands, laughing, chanting, grinning. The Grinch watches, grin wider than the world, claws tapping the table. He doesn't eat. He doesn't need to, because the feast isn't for him. It's for them. You wake screaming, clutching your arm, blood crusted on the cut you made. The laugh answers, low and cruel. And you realize something worse than hunger, worse than fear, worse than death. You don't want to escape anymore. You want to be chosen. The altar towers now, monstrous and obscene. Not stone anymore, not wood. Something else, something alive. Its surface ripples faintly, veins pulsing, cracks oozing with frost that smells like iron. The villagers bow deeper each day, foreheads pressed so hard against it that skin splits, blood freezing instantly on contact. They don't cry out. They smile. The laugh never stops. Day or night, it hums under the earth, rattles through the huts, curls inside your skull. Sometimes loud, booming like thunder. Sometimes faint, soft as a whisper in your ear. But never gone, never silence. The villagers don't resist it anymore. They mimic it. Every conversation, every chore, every word punctuated with broken chuckle, hollow giggles, cracked guffaws. The entire village laughs constantly now, not joy, not humor, worship. You laugh too. You have to. Because silence marks you. Silence means you doubt. And doubt means sacrifice. The idols are everywhere. Hundreds of them. Tall as men, small as fists, carved from wood, bone, even ice. All with the same face-long grin. Hollow eyes, crooked foot. They stand at doors, hang from rafters, line the altar. The villagers polish them with blood, whispering prayers, pressing lips to their jagged smile. One morning, you see something worse. A child no older than 6 standing at the edge of the square, face painted with ash, lips twisted into a grin to wide. The child holds an idol in one hand, knife in the other. Before anyone can stop them, they slice their palm, press it to the idol, and giggle as blood drips down. The crowd cheers. The mother weeps not in fear, but in pride. Your stomach churns. Your throat closes. You want to vomit, but your lips twitch upward anyway. You clap with the rest, because what else can you do? That night, the dream changes again. You don't see the long table. You don't see the forest. You see a mirror. Your reflection stares back. Hollow eyes, grin stretched to wide, fingers long and crooked, skin pale, teeth jagged. You raise your hand. So does it. You laugh. So does it. And then, the reflection leans closer, grinning wider, whispering, "You are me." You wake shaking, gasping, clawing at your own face. But when you touch your lips, you feel it, the grin, too wide, too sharp, still there when you stop smiling. The villagers see it too. They nod when you pass. They whisper when you enter the square. He is choosing, they murmur. He is changing. You stumble home, choking, sobbing, whispering no. But the laugh answers. Not cruel this time. Not mocking, gentle. Approving. And deep down, you know the truth. The Grinch doesn't just own the village. He is making the village his reflection. Piece by piece, face by face. Until one day, there won't be a difference. The village no longer looks human. Not in sound, not in sight, not in spirit. Every hut is marked with crooked symbols. Every door guarded by idols. Every face stretched into a permanent grin. The laughter never stops. It rattles the snow, shakes the rafters, gnaws at your bones until you laugh too, even when you don't want to. Children are born into it now. They never hear him, never see candles for saints, never taste bread baked for joy. Their first lullabies are chants. Their first toys are idols. Their first smiles are crooked, too wide, too sharp. They don't cry. They laugh, always laugh. The altar dominates the square, pulsing like a heart, breathing like lung. Sometimes it drips, sometimes it whispers, sometimes it shifts, as if something inside it moves. The villagers bow lower each day, pressing their forehead so hard that skin splits, blood soaking the snow. They don't care. They smear it with trembling fingers, painting the altar red, grinning as they whisper thanks. You avoid looking, you try. But your eyes betray you, because every time you glimpse its surface, you swear you see faces inside, pressed into the flesh, screaming, laughing, both at once. Some you recognize. Neighbors. Friend, the old man, the child who vanished, all grinning, all hollow. The Grinch walks openly now. No more shadows, no more glimpses. He strolls through the village, tall, crooked, grinning, eyes burning like coal. The villagers don't flee. They follow. They cheer. They kneel in the snow, reaching out trembling hands, desperate for his touch. When his claws graze their skin, they collapse, weeping, laughing, convulsing in ecstasy. You freeze when you see him, every muscle locked, every bone screaming. But your lips twitch into a grin anyway. Your knees bend, your hands clap. You chant, because you must, because he's watching, because he grins at you longest. That night, the dream is no dream. You're in the square, kneeling, chanting, grinning. The Grinch towers above, eyes locked on yours. He leans closer, breath icy, claws grazing your cheek. His grin splits wider, and he whispers, soon. You wake gasping, clawing at your face, trembling so hard you can barely breathe. But when you stumble outside, the villagers are waiting. Their eyes glow in the torchlight, their lips twitch into grin. He has chosen, they murmur. He has marked. You stumble back, shaking your head, whispering no. But the laugh answers, louder, sharper, cruel. And deep down, you know the truth. It's not just the village that's changing, it's you. Your reflection doesn't match anymore. Your grin stretches too far. Your eyes glow faintly in the dark. Your laugh echoes when you don't mean to laugh. You press your hands to your face, claw at your skin, beg silently to be human again. But the laugh answers, always. The villagers watch you now with reverence, not pity. They bow lower when you pass. They chant louder when you join. They whisper in trembling voices, he is becoming. You stumble to your hut, collapse onto your straw bed, trembling, sobbing, whispering prayers to a God who no longer listens. But the laugh drowns them out, and you realize something worse than death, worse than sacrifice, worse than the altar itself. The Grinch doesn't want to destroy you. He wants to make you him. The villagers follow you now, not like neighbors, not like equals, like disciples. Their hollow eyes track your every step. Their cracked lips tremble into wider grins when you pass. They whisper behind you, not in gossip, but in prayer. He is chosen. He is marked. He is his. You try to hide. You lock yourself in your hut. Nail the door shut. Press your hands over your ears to drown out the chant. But the laugh seeps in. Through the walls, through the cracks, through your own chest. You hear it in your ribs, in your teeth, in the marrow of your bone. You can't silence it. You can't stop it. Your reflection betrays you again. In water, in glass, in the faint shine of ice, you see it. Your grin too wide, your eyes faintly glowing, your fingers longer than they should be. You smash the mirror, you scatter the water, you claw at the ice, but the reflection always returns. The villagers see it too, and they love it. They bow when you emerge, their chants growing louder, their laughter higher, sharper. Children giggle, calling you his son. Women whisper, calling you his prophet. Men stomp and clap, chanting your name alongside his. One night, they drag you to the square. You fight, but weakly, trembling, starving, your strength long gone. They cheer, they laugh, they chant as they place you before the altar. The surface pulses, grins carved deeper, faces writhing beneath it. You feel its warmth burn against your skin, searing your soul. The Grinch appears, not shadow, not dream. Real, tall, crooked, grinning, eyes burning brighter than fire. He steps closer, claws clicking against the stone, breath curling white in the night. The crowd collapses to their knees, weeping, laughing, chanting. He stops before you. His grin splits wider. His claws graze your cheek, leaving frost that burn. He leans close, whispering one word. Soon, the laugh explodes, louder than thunder, shaking the earth, rattling your bones until you collapse into the snow. The villagers cheer, stomping, clapping, chanting your name with his. You sob, choking, trembling, but your lips twist upward. You laugh too. That night, the dream changes again. You don't see the long table. You don't see the forest. You see yourself, standing at the altar, tall, thin, crooked, grinning. The villagers kneel before you, chanting, laughing, offering scraps, blood, flesh. And when you laugh, the sky splits. You wake screaming, but this time, you don't stop laughing. The next morning, you stumble into the square. The villagers kneel instantly. They don't look at the altar. They look at you. They chant. They clap. They stomp. And when you open your mouth to beg them to stop, laughter pours out instead. The Grinch doesn't stop you. He doesn't silence you. He only watches from the edge of the forest, grin wide, eyes burning, approving, and you realize the truth. You're not his victim anymore. You're his reflection, his heir, his Christmas. They don't chant his name anymore. They chant yours. The square trembles every night as the villagers stomp and clap, their cracked voices rising in broken rhythm. Not Grinch, not the name whispered in fear, then faith, then frenzy. Now it's your name, over and over, until the sound drowns the snow, until your own heartbeat matches the chant, until you no longer know where you end and he begin. You try to deny it. You try to shout at them, to tell them you're not him. You are not chosen. You are not a god. But when you open your mouth, laughter pours out, harsh, jagged, cruel. And the crowd cheers, collapsing to their knees, grins trembling with ecstasy. The altar responds to you now. When you touch its surface, it pulses faster. When your blood stains it, the laugh rises sharper. When you kneel before it, the villagers weep with joy, their bodies convulsing, their voices shrieking. The old man is forgotten. The priest is forgotten. The lords are forgotten. You are all that remains. And he, always he appears more often now, standing at the forest's edge, watching, grinning. Sometimes he steps closer, his shadow stretching across the snow, his claws clicking like bells. But he never enters the square fully anymore. He doesn't need to, because you are there. The children bow when you pass, painting their faces with ash grit. Women smear blood across their lips, grinning wider as they chant your name. Men carve idols not just of him, but of you, your crooked grin, your glowing eyes, your 2 long fingers. They place them beside his on doorsteps, in huts, on the altar. That night, the dream returns. You stand at the long table, but the seat at the head is empty. He is gone. Only you remain. The villagers feast, tearing meat with bloody hand, laughing until their throats. They look at you with reverence, with worship, with hunger. And when you raise your hand, they scream your name. You wake gasping, drenched in sweat, heart racing. But when you stumble outside, the villagers are already waiting, kneeling, chanting. Their eyes locked on you, their lips stretched wide. You whisper no, you whisper stop, but laughter erupts from your throat, booming, cruel, endless. They cheer, they stomp, they clap. The laugh echoes back, not just yours, his, merging, blending, indistinguishable. And you realize something worse than death, worse than sacrifice, worse than the altar itself. He isn't just making you his reflection, he is making you his replacement. The villagers don't need him anymore. They have you, and deep down, you know the truth. You don't need him either, because the laugh no longer comes from the forest. It comes from you. The snow never melts. It piles higher, heavier, burying the huts, swallowing the pots, smothering the world. But the villagers don't curse it. They celebrate it, because snow is silence. Snow is hunger. Snow is him or you. The altar pulses louder now, shaking the ground, vibrating the air. The villagers bow deeper, smear more blood, carve more idol. But when they chant, they no longer look at it. They look at you. Children leave toys at your door. Women leave scraps of food. Men cut their palms and press bloody hands against your heart. You wake each morning surrounded by offering, as if you're the altar now, as if you're the feast, and maybe you are. The laugh never leaves your throat. Even when you're silent, you feel it bubbling inside, rattling your ribs, curling behind your teeth. Sometimes it bursts out without warning, low, cruel, broken. The villagers cheer every time. One night, you wander into the square, weak, trembling, lost in the endless rhythm of chants. The villagers collapse at your feet, sobbing, laughing, screaming your name. You want to deny it. You want to run, but your lips split into a grin too wide, too sharp, too real. And when you raise your hand, they fall silent instantly. Power. Cold. Heavy. Addictive. And in the silence, you hear him. The Grinch. Not outside. Not in the forest. Inside. Whispering. Guiding. Grinning. We're one. The dream comes again. Sharper. Clearer. You stand at the long table. This time, he sits beside you. Not above you. Not leading. Twin. Reflection. He hands you a goblet. You drink. He laughs. You laugh. The sound blends, echoes, shakes the world. When you wake, you're still laughing. And you don't stop. The villagers prepare a new feast. Not the Lord's feast. Not the church's feast. Not even the sacrifices of before. A feast of you for you. They drag animals, bread, blood, bones to your hut, piling them at your door, chanting your name until the snow itself shakes. You want to refuse. You want to scream. But the hunger is too strong. You tear into it, trembling, sobbing, laughing between bites. The villagers jeer louder, stomping, clapping, grinning until their faces split. That night, you dream again. The long table vanishes. Only the forest remains. Black trees, endless snow. You walk between them, tall, crooked, grinning. Villagers follow, hollow-eyed, laughing, chanting. And behind you him, the Grinch. Watching, approving. Fading. Because he doesn't need to lead anymore, you do. You wake in the snow, surrounded by villagers, all kneeling, all grinning, all chanting. They don't say his name anymore, only yours, over and over, until the world itself feels like it belongs to you. And maybe it does, because the Grinch hasn't stolen Christmas. You have, and you'll never give it back. The village is gone, at least the village you once knew. No more market square, no more humble huts, no more church bells in the distance. Now it is an altar with wall, a cathedral of snow and ash. Every service carved with grins, every doorway guarded by idols, every face split into smiles too wide, too sharp, too eternal. And you at the center of it all. The villagers don't see you as neighbor anymore. They see you as priest, prophet, savior. Children kneel when you pass, pressing their tiny palms into the snow as they giggle hollowly. Adults smear their blood across your hut, whispering your name like prayer. They don't even flinch when you laugh now low, cruel, jagged because they echo it instantly, like a choir. The Grinch lingers less and less. Sometimes you glimpse him at the forest's edge, grin glowing faintly in the dark. But he never enters. He doesn't need to. Because you're here. Because you've become him. The dreams confirm it. No long table anymore. No forest. Only a throne, carved from ice, bone, and shadow. You sit upon it, grinning, hollow-eyed, your laugh booming like thunder. The villagers kneel, offering flesh, blood, scraps of joy. He stands beside you, fading, merging, dissolving into your grin. And when you wake, the laugh still rattles your chest, still splits your lips, still shakes the night. The feast never ends now. Every day, offerings pile at your door. Food. Animals. Tools. Flesh. The villagers bring themselves to trembling, weeping, begging to be chosen. Some cut their skin. Some collapse at your feet. Some vanish into the snow with grins too wide. You never chase. You don't need to. They give themselves freely. And when they vanish, the altar grows taller. The village grows emptier. Your grin grows wider. The seasons blur. Is it still winter? Was it ever not? You can't remember the sun. You can't remember warmth. Only snow. Only hunger. Only laughter. One evening, you stand in the square, surrounded by kneeling bodies. Their chants rise like smoke, thick and choking. Your grin twitches wider. Your eyes burn brighter. Your laugh bursts louder than ever. And in that moment you feel it. Not just the village, the world. You hear distant bells, faint hymn, lords feasting in warm hall. You hear children laughing not hollow, but joyful. You hear priests singing, candles flickering, choirs rising. And you laugh, harder, sharper, crueler. Because you know, you can reach them. The Grinch didn't just want your village. He wanted Christmas itself, and through you, he'll have it. That night, the dream confirms it. You walk through endless snow, but it isn't your forest anymore. It's the world, villages, town, cities swallowed in white. Candles snuffed, bells silenced, choirs choked, children's laughter twisted into hollow giggle. And at the center dash you grinning, laughing, watching as the world kneels. You wake trembling, panting, drooling, grin splitting your face until it hurt. The villagers kneel outside your hut, chanting your name, their voices cracked, their throats bleeding. And you realize the truth. You are no longer chosen. You are the chooser. You are no longer reflection. You are the original. The Grinch isn't coming. He never was. He is here. And he wears your face. The village no longer contains you. It can. The chants, the idols, the laughter they spill beyond the snow-buried hut, echoing into the forest, carried by the wind like a plague. Travelers whisper of it. Other villagers hear it. At night, faint and broken, they swear the laugh drifts across valleys, rattling their windows, freezing their fire. At first, they mock. The cursed village, they say. Madmen starving in the snow. But then the laughter spread. A merchant's child giggles for no reason, all night long, until their throat tears. A farmer wakes to claw marks on his door, idols carved into his barn. A priest screams mid-sermon, his voice twisting into cruel chuckles he cannot stop. And suddenly, they don't mock anymore. They fear. The villagers cheer when the rumors reach you. They stomp, they clap, they laugh until they collapse in the snow. He spreads, they scream. Our laugh is his laugh. Our hunger is his hunger. Their cracked lips split wider. Their hollow eyes gleam brighter. Their laughter sharper. You don't deny it. You can't. Because you hear it too. Faint, distant, hollow giggles carried on the wind. Not just your village anymore. The world. The altar grows monstrous, towering over the square. Veins pulsing, faces writhing beneath its surface. Sometimes it screams. Sometimes it weeps. Always it laughs. The villagers kneel, smearing their blood, offering their children, begging for a nothing but silence that never comes, and your body changes daily. Fingers longer, eyes glowing brighter, grin splitting wider until your skin aches. The villagers don't fear it. They worship it. They paint their own faces to mimic yours. They carve idols in your image, placing them beside his, sometime instead of his. That night, the dream changes again. You stand not at a long table, not at a throne, but over the world itself. Snow swallows continents, fires sputter and die, bells fall silent, and everywhere laughter. Hollow, endless, cruel. Your laugh. The world bows. The Grinch watches from the void, fading, dissolving, grinning wider as he merges into you completely. You wake shaking, sobbing, laughing all at once. The villagers are outside, kneeling, chanting. They don't say his name anymore. They don't even say yours. They chant one word, over and over, until the sky shakes. Christmas, not as joy, not as feast, not as gift, as curse, as hunger, as laugh. The priests in other towns warn of it. They preach against it. They raise crosses, light candles, sing louder here. But their voices crack. Their candles die. Their hymns twist into broken chuckles mid-note. The lords forbid it. They lock gates, hoard food, slaughter peasants who speak of it. But the laughter echoes inside their halls anyway. It cannot be stopped, because Christmas no longer belongs to them, or to the church, or even to God. It belongs to you. You stumble into the square, weak but grinning, trembling but laughing. The villagers collapse at your feet, bowing so low their faces freeze to the snow. Your laugh bursts, booming, cruel, endless. They cheer, they sob, they scream. And in that moment, you realize the truth. The Grinch never wanted to steal Christmas. He wanted to rewrite it. And through you, he has. Christmas is no longer joy. It is hunger. It is silence. It is the laugh that devours the world. The laugh doesn't stay in the village anymore. It rides the wind like a sickness, seeping into cracks, into bone, into prayers. It's heard in valleys, in forests, in castles. At first faint, then louder, until even the bells of cathedrals tremble under its echo. In distant towns, Christmas begins to die. Priests raise their hand, trying to bless the feast, but their voices shake, twisting into giggles mid-sermon. Lords cut into roasted meat, but the taste turns to ash on their tongue, laughter bubbling from their throats. Children unwrap gifts, only to scream not in fear, but in cruel laughter that doesn't stop until their lips split. And always, always, they hear it. The hollow chuckle of something unseen, the crooked grin behind every shadow, the echo that started in your village and now spreads like plague. Your followers, your villagers celebrate. They dance in the snow, stomping, clapping, grinning until their jaws ache. It spreads, they cry. He spreads, we spread. Their eyes burn with fever, their lips bleed from too wide smile. They don't care. They laugh until they collapse. And when they collapse, they don't rise. The snow swallows them, and the altar grows. The altar towers now, monstrous, pulsating, dripping black frost. Faces writhe beneath its surface, screaming, laughing, both. Some you recognize, some you don't. Maybe from other villages, maybe from the world. The altar no longer belongs to your square. It belongs everywhere. And you are no longer human. Your grin cuts your face into halves. Your eyes glow faint as embers. Your fingers stretch crooked like claws. The villagers don't fear. They paint themselves to mimic you. They carve idols with your shape. They chant your name, then his, then merge them both until there is no difference. That night, the dream swallows you hold out no table, no throne, no forest, the world itself, covered in snow, villages kneeling, cities silent, kingdoms crumbling, priests choking on laughter, lords devoured by silence, children grinning hollow-eyed, and above it all you, crooked, grinning, hollow. Your laugh shakes the earth dot the sky, the stars, and beside you, fading into your grin, the Grinch. Not rival, not master, not even equal dot gone dot merged. Dissolved, his laugh now yours, his hunger now yours, his curse now yours. You wake gasping, trembling, sobbing but laughing too, because it isn't a dream anymore. It's prophecy. The villagers gather, eyes wide, lips trembling. They don't ask. They know. They kneel, pressing their faces to the snow until their skin freezes, chanting louder, harder, until blood runs from their throats. Christmas, the word shakes the square. The word cracks the sky. The word no longer means joy. No longer means feast. No longer means birth. It means hunger. It means silence. It means you. And somewhere far away, bells try to ring. Priests try to sing. Children try to smile with joy. But the laugh drowns them all. Christmas is not theirs anymore. It's yours forever. The snow spreads like rock. Not just in your village. Not just in your forest across kingdoms, across empires. Fields wither beneath it. Rivers freeze in silence. Roads vanish under drifts that never melt. The world is buried, smothered, silent. And under that silence, the laugh. Always the laugh. In distant cities, the bells of cathedrals toll hollow notes before shattering under unseen weight. Choirs rise in hymns only to break into shrieks of laughter mid-song, voices cracking until blood spills from their throats. Lords feast on gold plates, but every bite tastes like ash. Every sip of wine burns like ice. and every laugh from their guests twists into his laugh. Children play in the snow, but they don't build angels anymore. They carve crooked faces, hollow eyes, jagged smiles. Their parents grinning too wide, whispering, "He is here. He is everywhere." And you, your body is no longer yours. Fingers stretched into claws, skin pale as frost, eyes glowing like dying embers. Your grin cuts deeper each day, splitting your face into something unrecognizable. The villagers cheer as you change, their chants louder, their laughter sharper. They don't fear, they worship, because to them, you are not becoming him. You already are. The altar pulses with every heartbeat of the world. Its surface rides with faces not only from your village, but from far-off land. You recognize none, yet you feel them all. Screaming, laughing, devoured. That night, the dream consumes you. The earth is gone. Only snow remains. Oceans frozen. Mountains buried. Skies black with cloud. And across the white emptiness, billions kneel. Not villages, not cities, humanity itself. Hollow-eyed, grinning, chanting one word that shakes the stars. Christmas, but not as joy. Not as birth. Not as gift. As hunger. As silence, as laugh. You stand above them, tall, crooked, grinning. Your laugh shakes the world, the sky, the void itself. And beside you no one. He is gone. The Grinch is no longer separate. He dissolved into you long ago. You are him. He is you. The legend has no past, no origin, no cartoon, no rhyme. Only this. Only hunger. Only silence. Only laugh. You wake not screaming, not sobbing, but grinning. The villagers kneel outside your hut, chanting until their lips split, until their voices die, until their bodies collapse in the snow. They don't rise. They don't need to. The laugh has already claimed them. You step into the square, snow crunching beneath claws, grin cutting your face, eyes burning. The altar pulses, cracks splitting across its surface, laughter booming from inside. The villagers weep in ecstasy, clawing at their own faces, begging to be taken. And you realize the truth. This is the last Christmas. Not just for the village, not just for the world, for everything. Because tomorrow, there will be no sun, no feast, no hymn. Only snow, only hunger, only laugh, and it will never end. The sky never brighten. The sun is gone, swallowed by clouds that churn like smoke, black and endless. The snow falls heavier, thicker, until the world is a white tomb. The earth itself freezes in your lung, every breath slicing like knives. And yet, the laughter never fades. It rattles through the snow, shakes the mountain, echoes across the frozen ocean. Not just from you, not just from the villagers, but from everywhere. Cities, kingdoms, empires all drowned in the same hollow laugh. Humanity itself giggles on cracked lips, wide grins stretching until faces split. Christmas has ended, and yet it has only begun. The altar splits open, stone and flesh cracking wide. Black frost bursts into the sky, staining the clouds, spreading like veins across the heaven. Faces scream and laugh from its surface, millions of them, writhing, merging, dissolving. The villagers collapse before it, clawing their own skin, grinning until their jaws snap. They don't rise. They don't need to. They are already part of it. You stand at the center, taller than you've ever been, claws gleaming, eyes burning. Your grin stretches impossibly wide, splitting your face into a mask of hunger. You raise your hand, and the world bows. You hear it all. Priests choking mid-prayer, lords howling mid-feet, children giggling in their graves, choirs shrieking hymns turned into broken chants, bells shattering under invisible laughter. The world is not many voices anymore. It is one. One laugh, one hunger, one Christmas. Yours. The Grinch is gone. There is no shadow in the forest, no crooked figure lurking. He has dissolved, merged, devoured into you. The legend is no longer his. It is yours. The peasants who once raided feast, the hunger that once cursed your village, the laugh that once haunted your dreams, it all ends here, inside you. The dream becomes real. You stand over a world of snow, a god of silence and hunger. Villages gone, cities buried, oceans frozen, stars dimming, the void itself echoing with your laugh. And when the last voice falls silent, when the last smile freezes in place, when the last shred of humanity dissolves into the snow you speak, for the first time, not a laugh, words, Christmas is mine. The world shatters, the stars split, the void rings with laughter that never ends, and somewhere, deep in the snow, a child whispers the only word that matters, not in joy, not in prayer, not in fear, Grinch. Your grin widens, your laugh shakes eternity, and Christmas ends forever.